Sorry, Canada, we don't want you. My sentiments exactly. Canada is a failed state, failed country. Why would we want to take on Canada's burden? I mean, everything in Canada is expensive. They euthanize people for no reason. They don't have free speech out there. I mean, look what happened with the truckers out there that decided to protest. Then they went into their bank accounts and shut them down and locked them out, locked them up. Like, we do not want Canada. Canada can stay Canada. So we go talk about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from the National Review. And they report and ask the question, why would we make Canada's scuffling economic performance our problem? Great question. We don't want it. We don't want it. We have enough problem with trying to fix Biden's mess. Do you want us to take in Canada? But the slogan of James K. Polk's supporters in the 1844 presidential campaign was 54 degrees 40 or fight, referring to their desire to take a substantial slice of what would eventually become Canadian territory along the Pacific Northwest coastline. For his part, Donald Trump isn't bothering to set out any latitude lines when he discusses his ambitions on Canada. He wants the whole thing, or so he says in his trolling of our friendly neighbor to the north and its embattled progressive prime minister, Justin Trudeau. And that's exactly what I think it is. I think Trump is just trolling. He don't really want to make Canada the 51st state. But in recent weeks, Trump has mused about Canada becoming the 51st state, posted an artificially generated image of himself beside a Canadian flag atop a mountain, staring heroically into the distance, and referred to Trudeau amusingly as governor. We all remember when he did that. By all accounts, most Canadians have taken this in stride, but some have expressed consternation and indignation, to which we can reply, don't worry, Canada, we don't really want you. We don't. We really don't. Even if Trump were inclined to dust off War Plan Red, the Department of War's strategy in the early 20th century for how to conduct a war against the British Empire, featuring Canada as a key battlefield, it wouldn't be worth the effort. The United States doesn't need another huge, misgoverned blue state. I mean, we don't want another California. We already have California, like I was just saying, where the climate and surfing are better. Over the last several years, Canada has managed to fall even further behind the United States economically. Quote, the IMF forecasts that Canada's national income per head, equivalent to around 80% of America's in the decade before the pandemic, will be just 70% of its neighbors in 2025, according to The Economist. I mean, Justin Trudeau has destroyed Canada. Writing on the same theme at the website The Hub, University of Calgary economics professor Trevor Trombe notes that, quote, the gap between the Canadian and American economies have now reached its widest point in nearly a century. The U.S., he continues, quote, is on track to produce nearly 50% more per person than Canada will. Canada would be the fourth poorest state per capita in the Union, beneath Alabama. Wow. Why would we make Canada's scuffling economic performance our problem? Then there's the matter of politics. Canada would be a blue state, behemoth, matching California in population, roughly 40 million, and presumably in reliably democratic politics. There are red areas of Canada which have the same urban versus rural divide as the U.S., yet the Great White North is overall less conservative. They are. Polling in Canada before the U.S. presidential election showed Kamala Harris with a 3-1 lead over Trump and an advantage even in the more Trump friendly prairies. The US and Canada are friendly neighbors with intertwined histories but have distinct political and economic cultures. We might think we'd annex Canada and make it more like us, but with two Democratic senators and a huge tranche of electoral votes for Democratic presidential candidates, Canada would surely make us more like it. And Democrats should be all for this. In that sense, the joke would definitely be on us. Yeah, it would be because we would probably never get another Republican president in if we would make Canada our 51st state. We'd also be buying ourselves an instant separationist problem by incorporating Quebec, the French-speaking province that has had a notoriously troubled relationship with the rest of Canada. If we want to add French along with English and Spanish as yet another obligatory language option, this would be a great move. And there's the matter of Justin Trudeau, ridiculous Trudeau. I call him what is the guy from Cuba? Memory slips me. His dad from Cuba. Gosh, I'm sorry. I can't think today, y'all. I'm a little scatterbrains. But after his irksome, grievous misrule of Canada, it would be even more annoying if the story ended with his becoming a U.S. Citizen. Who knows? Still young, he might revive his career in Democratic politics. He couldn't run for president, but might use his status as a kingmaker in Ontario caucuses for power and influence. And that said, national modesty compels us to admit that all our prior efforts to take Canada have failed, and our pleasant northerly neighbor deserves respect amid the ribbing. Let Canada be Canada, and I'm all for it. Like I said, we don't need Canada. We don't want Canada. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Do y'all think it'd be nice to have Canada as a 51st state? Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.